Hello, everybody. Welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture. I'm Dad. This is my den. And today I'm going to be doing my February, or February, if we're going to pronounce it correctly, toy haul. So these are items that I picked up in February, or at least they got delivered to the house in February. Some from auction, some from going out and buying them. I got a couple in here that I really dig. I'm going to be excited to show these off. As usual, my main interest is in vintage toys or in modern ones that have a vintage feel or are just quirky and weird like me. So let's get this started off because I have quite a few things to show and I don't want to take super long doing it. So number one, in the January toy haul, I talked about White Elephant Toys, who are producing some really cool 8-inch monster figures that have the feel of sort of the world-famous super monsters from way back when, or something from AHI, Lincoln International, those kind of, you'd call them knockoffs, because let's be honest, the knockoffs very often are every bit as creative as the real thing. And so we talked about the Teenage Bog Monster, which I have now actually taken out of its little package. And here we bring him up nice and close. You get a good, oh, look at that. God, I love this thing. Look at that crazy sculpt. Really nice. I'm very happy with this figure. Very posable, very fun. But when I mentioned him, I also mentioned that I didn't know if they had the other ones out yet. And so, since I like to do most of my research, where can I put him? If I put him back here, I just know he's going to, oh, well, that's off camera anyways. I just know I'm going to probably knock him off. But I like to do my research, of course, after I do my videos, because that's the professional way to do things. So I wondered, have they produced the other ones yet? I went and looked at the website. Oh, yeah, they do have another one, and I hadn't ordered it yet. And so, okay, I'm never going to be comfortable with that guy just sitting there. I know I'm going to knock this over. I'm going to put him next to my microphone. So, yeah, lo and behold, there was another one out. I got him. He was delivered. And I'll say this with White Elephant. Man, it's fast delivery. The packaging is awesome. Very happy with these guys. Great price. This is the Bloody Mummy. And look at that. Holy mackerel. That's a great piece. I really love it. You got the cloth costume. There's a bloody and non-bloody variant, I guess you could say. Obviously, I went bloody because, why wouldn't you? This is actually the pose he comes in. I like it so much I don't even want to mess with it. So the Bloody the Bloody Mummy from White Elephant Toys. Super happy with this. Again, it stands well. It's good construction. It's quality. Very happy with these. If you missed out on some of the classic monster toy knockoffs of the 1970s, because you get those originals, they are not cheap. This is a great way to get into that element of the hobby, support a new toy company that's out there, and they're fabulous. You're not going to be sorry that you got these. Now those two, I have quite a few Mego Universal Monsters. We mostly bring them out at Halloween and kind of use them as decorations in the house because we do a fair amount of Halloween decorating. So I have a lot of those. These guys, they don't mesh that well with those Universal Monsters. So to me, it's kind of a separate collection of these more, I don't know, off the wall sort of monsters. But I did get a Mego that I think goes better with these than with the Universal Monsters, and I'm real excited about him. And you've probably seen him elsewhere, but this is Dracula. Whoops. Let's get his cape so it's not right in his face. So this is Mego Dracula. I think 2019 is when they produced these. You got this velvet cape. You got the frilly shirt, glow in the dark I love it. I love the mustache. I love the goatee. He's really cool. Let's get him a little bit closer in. You can get a nice close look. And I think he goes fantastic with these fellas from White Elephant. I'll put him. Yeah, so there we go. I'm going to keep these guys together and probably look, as White Elephant produces more of these monsters, I'm 100% in on them. I'm definitely going to try to get all of them that they produce, and they'll make a nice display with these guys. They're just, I don't know, these were these kind of things that you got back in the day. Because, when we were kids, we were from Gen X, we were always begging for something. You go to a grocery store, wherever, Mom, can I, Dad, can I, gum, Tic Tacs. It didn't matter. You were always trying to get a hold of something. Cereal, the toy aisle. Can I get one of these? Can I get a cookie? And it was mostly no, because frankly, a lot of us grew up when the economy was not really doing super great in the late 70s and the very early 80s. And it was a struggle, So a lot of us, man, we really valued our toys. I think that's partly what comes through with some of the collecting. There were the kids who like Sid and Toy Story that just destroyed everything. Man, a lot of us really valued the toys we had because we didn't have a ton of them. So we were always angling for something. And the kind of knockoff figures that would sometimes show up, they'd maybe be a little bit cheaper than the real thing. And you got those things, and man, as much as you wanted to have the toy that looked like the toys on the cartoon or whatever you saw in the commercials, these guys were they were more unique. They were somehow more special. Highly valued. So, so I picked up Dracula here at an awesome shop there's multiple locations, but they're not nationwide, called Zia Records. If you have never been, go. If you don't have one near you, they are online. They sell, I think they kind of started off selling used vinyl. Now, of course, they have new vinyl as well, but you can find, used CDs. You can find, and some new stuff too. You can find DVDs, you can find VHS, you can find cassette tapes, you can find all sorts of interesting little toys. Usually the toys and all the, I don't know what you call them, memorabilia, collectibles, they're usually newer. They're not necessarily vintage. You can find tons of stuff at Zia Records. Really cool place. I picked up a few things, some physical media. I managed to get Godzilla. These are the cartoons. I could not pass this up on VHS. It seemed like a bonkers thing to have. I didn't even go looking for this. I actually found this over in the record bins because somebody just left it there. It's $1.99 for Enter the Dragon. Are you kidding me? Of course I got it. So I grabbed a few things. I had a gift card. I also got, this is something I've been looking at for a while. Put it up a little closer here. This is Super 7. This is a creature from the Black Lagoon, world famous super monsters, so done in that style. The creature is probably my favorite movie monster. I think the Creature trilogy, and I'll review it at some point, but I think it is absolutely top notch. As obviously a little corny, a little goofy as it might be, I think it's great. Love him. Over on the wall, you can't see. And I don't want to flip the camera around at this point. I got an awesome Art Adams print of the creature that I got on his website. And by the way, if you like Art Adams, comic book artist, you saw a lot of him in the 80s and such, go check out his website. He has prints that are extremely affordable. I got that one framed. It's beautiful. So I love the creature. That is a toy I'd been looking at for a while, had never quite managed to pull the trigger on. They had it marked down a little bit, and like I said, I had some gift card stuff, so I picked it up. So that's some of the newer stuff that I've gotten. I've gotten a few older pieces in February. First one, not super old, although I kind of thought it was. And this sort of will also be part of a theme, this episode of auctions you didn't think you were going to win, but ended up winning. you got to be careful with those. This is Battle Raiders Sabretooth Tiger. Let me see if, oh, there we go. Okay, from, I believe the company's pronounced Chap Mei or Chap Mei. These were produced in 2003. Honestly, I thought this was something that was like the Galaxy Warriors that were Masters of the Universe knockoffs from the 80s. I put in a lowball bid, just sort of the entry-level bid, thought, what the heck, maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. And I got it, and then in my normal way, I did a little bit more research. In my defense, the person who listed it made it seem as though it was an older, like, Remco piece. So I started looking for information on that piece, and it wasn't there, and eventually tracked it down. But I gotta say, in as much as it's not a really, although I was thinking, wow, 2003, that's not old at all, and then it hits me. That's 20 years ago. I don't know. I'm an old man. Everything after 2000 seems like it's very recent, but it is. So it is a 20-year-old toy. I mean, back when I was a kid in the 80s, if you showed me a toy from the mid 60s, I would have thought that was old. But for some reason, I didn't think this was that old. You see, I got this little piece of like paper plastic stuck in because he has a loose leg. I'm going to trim that down, but it actually is pretty good at keeping the leg steady enough that it'll stand up. But the sculpt on this is actually, I think, really pretty good. It definitely has that sort of vibe of the cool knockoff stuff from back in like the 80s and such. So I'm actually pretty happy with this. I might sell it off at some point. I don't know, but for now, I'm pretty happy with that little dude. Even though didn't really think I was going to win it, and kind of was sort of, I won't say lied to, but it was a little deceptive. I think the person who did the listing didn't know either. I don't think they were lying. I think they just got it wrong, and I didn't do enough checking. Also, another one I got on, this was actually a buy it now off of eBay. The price was really good. This is John Blackstar from the Blackstar cartoon, Filmation, 1981. It's a really cool cartoon that, its only real flaw, and this is a flaw with a lot of Filmation material from that time, is they always have to have the little high-pitched cutesy character. Now this one actually has a whole bunch of them. They're the little, I think they call them Troblins. I can kind of do without those, but the character design on Blackstar, especially on his winged dragon mount warlock, and then the two characters that sort of help him out, is really cool. They're very cool, and I've kind of been eyeing the toys. They were produced by Galoob back in the day. Kind of a Masters of the Universe feel to these. Different body shape, but not terribly different. Blackstar didn't do super well. The line didn't do super well. I definitely want to get one of the dragons. And those sell for a pretty penny. I mean, we're not talking like $500 for, one of the modern like Hot Toys things. But, for a cheap old bastard like me, they're not super cheap. I'd love to get one though. Want to get the sword obviously to go with them, and then maybe some of the two companions I'd like to get too, because I think the designs are great. Filmation had a lot of really cool designs back in the day. I think that gets overlooked sometimes. Because I'll admit, when I was younger, you looked at the Filmation cartoons compared to some of the other stuff out. They sometimes felt a little bit cheap. There was the rotoscoping, there was reusing scenes over and over and over again. But looking back on them now, I see that they had a lot of really fantastic design elements that went into these things. And I think most of them are worth another look. So that's John Blackstar, Galoob. The one thing I saw said 83. The cartoon was 81. It seems odd that there'd be that kind of a gap. But maybe there was. I don't know. Okay, so here we get to my two favorite pieces The first one, Fisher-Price did a line of action figures and vehicles in the late 70s, early 80s called Adventure People. These were not toys that I had when I was a kid, but they were toys that when I saw them, I always thought looked pretty cool. You know, I think you'd find them like at doctor's offices and things of that nature. Not something I ever owned. I don't remember any of my friends having them, but definitely a thing you'd see. You think they were pretty cool. So this is the Alpha Probe. Space Shuttle, 1980. This came up in an auction. I did not know how big this thing was. I didn't. I thought it was cool. I knew it was Adventure People. I wanted to take a stab at it. I put in a lowball bid that I was sure I was not going to win on. And lo and behold, I won. And so I got this thing. And I got to be honest, I fell in love with this thing as soon as I got a hold of it. The lines on this vehicle, especially from the front, hopefully my voice isn't getting too muffled. This thing is, in my opinion, absolutely gorgeous. Now, it's a battery-operated toy. So I put a bid in on this one. I was sure I was not going to get it, and I did. Okay, cool. In the meantime, a second one had come up. Now, the second one, not in the best of shape. I actually put more money down on it because it included some pieces this one was missing. Was sure I wasn't going to win that one, and I won that one too. I'm going to show that one in just a minute. This particular one, initially, it's missing the stickers, and that bums me out because the stickers on this thing were really cool. But it is functioning, the electronic noises. I'm going to play them here, and hopefully they're not going to come through mega loud or mega quiet. So let's see if I can, there we go. Folks, that was the height of technological cool in 1980. I can assure you of that, having been a kid at that time. So this one was missing the door for the batteries. It was missing the smaller ship that goes inside. I'm going to show that in a moment. It was missing this gray piece on the back. It did have one astronaut with it. The other one had the spaceship on the interior and an astronaut as well. It had the gray piece. It had this. So I combined the two together because this one is actually, it's really clean. It's in really, really good shape. Again, wish it had the stickers. I've gone looking. I can't find them. I went looking for replicas. I can't find them. So I may never get a hold of those. Let's pop this thing open. So in the interior, put that down for a moment. You have this sort of NASA orange interior. You can slide this back. There we go. To get a hold of the pilot in there, our astronaut in her seat. Slides back forward. Now there would normally be these two lifelines. So you could have the lifeline, it's stiff plastic. You can have the astronaut hooked up to it so it looks like they're doing a spacewalk. I have found those online. I haven't ordered them yet. I probably will at some point. You can apparently take this part off and you can hook it to, let me put this down. You can hook it to this smaller little space probe. So let's bring that up. Now, I obviously, this one needs some repair, so I'm not going to open it, but the astronaut is inside. And so apparently, you can attach that. Wow, and there we go. Again, I think the design on these is awesome. I guess I do have a little sticker on this one. Absolutely beautiful. I'm not only super enthused about this piece. I'm really tempted to start getting some other Adventure People vehicles and figures to go with it. In '83, they produced an Alpha Probe, which looked like sort of this space age truck. I think they would be a great companion piece to this. But let me show you now the Alpha Probe that I got. That was the one that had some pieces I needed, but otherwise was not in quite as good a shape. And this one, to me, is like a piece of folk art, because somebody went ahead and applied their own stickers, and they were not stickers that went with the Alpha Probe. And there's maybe some experts out there could tell me if I'm wrong. I think they might belong to a G.I. Joe vehicle. So we saw the peaceful Adventure People space probe. Now we find, I guess, the military version, because look at that. We got the shark mouth and the teeth. That reminds me of some G.I. Joe vehicles. And the little put it a little closer, that little red, white, and blue stripe reminds me of G.I. Joe. Although now I'm looking at it. Yeah, it's definitely a decal. Anyways, it's not quite as clean as the other one. Still has those awesome lines, though. But I just love the little decoration job that somebody did on it. This one I will almost certainly put up for auction somewhere along the line. I did put the battery in. It managed to produce one sound effect, but not the others. Which means it could probably be a little repair would probably, have it working pretty well. So hey, if there's anybody out there, you can find these. They're not incredibly hard to find. Truth is, I overpaid for it. I don't really care at the moment. I'm really happy with this toy. It was something I'd never seen before. But again, I just love the lines. I love the design. I think it's fantastic. Okay, so last piece of the puzzle. This is one that I didn't get accidentally in an auction. I got it on purpose in an auction. And probably, I don't think I overpaid, but I didn't get a deal on it. So a lot of folks, here I'm trying to be real coy with it. There's a lot of cool action figures out there. A lot of cool men of adventure to be found. But my friends, this is Pulsar. And Pulsar is the ultimate man of adventure. Pulsar also has pants that don't, So Pulsar was produced in 1977. It's a Mattel toy. It was done to compete with Kenner's more popular $6 Million Man line. I had a $6 Million Man when I was a kid. I don't know what happened to it. I'm incredibly bummed out that I lost that along the way. Pulsar's kind of cool, though. He normally has a jacket. I don't have that. I'm going to get it. He has a button on his back. If you press it, you're supposed to be able to see his organs inside moving. You can kind of... let's get him a lot closer. And you can kind of see that. You got to think he's basically a cyborg of some kind. We have movable arms. He also has, if I can bring it up, well, let me do it from the side. His face lifts up. There should be discs inside. You can kind of see, and again, we'll bring it in close. You can see he has like a brain in there. So we're talking about a cyborg. There were, whoops, get his face down all the way. There were apparently two versions produced. One of them, the organs, the clear part goes right down to the waist. The other one, it goes all the way down to the legs, so I have the second version. Had the shoes. Okay, so, dude, I just think this is a cool toy. Again, I love the design on a lot of these things. So many of them are to me kind of like accidental works of art. They just hit a certain pop culture, I don't know, thing in me that just they take me back to a different time, different place, and I really dig them. Unfortunately, Pulsar did not ultimately compete well with the $6 Million Man. He did have a sort of base station that you could hook him up to for, like, you know, healing and regeneration. And he has a villain called Hypnos, who's really cool looking. This is another one. I got a decent price on him. I thought, look, I'll hold on to it for a while and then probably let it go. And I am so friggin' happy with this guy. I mean, look at this. Look at this face. Ugh. And it really kind of reminds me of like Race Bannon, you know, who's always been a hero of mine since I watched Johnny Quest as a kid. I'm going to probably go looking for Hypnos, and I might hold on to these guys for longer than I thought. I think Pulsar is pretty darn cool. So that is the February toy haul in Dad's Den. Some neat little pieces, stuff that I didn't necessarily know I was going to hold on to forever that I might. Let's see if I can get him to stand up here nice and perfect. Okay. So, if you liked this video, I'd love it if you would give me the thumbs up. And if you like the videos I'm doing, it'd be cool if you'd subscribe. If you have any comments, if you had any of these toys, if you remember any of these toys, if you can correct any mistakes that I made, I'd love to hear from you. If not, well, that's fine too. I'm just glad you gave my video a chance. So we'll close this out for February. I hope everybody has had a good February. I hope you have a great March coming up. God bless everybody. And hey, get out there and have some fun with toys, with movies, with TV, with whatever you happen to dig. And I will see you soon. I will see you in March with some more videos. God bless.